Hey everyone, happy Thursday. We're closing in on the end of the week. Isn't that exciting? So today I'm going to talk to you a little bit about how to tell if you are ready to outsource your bookkeeping. Kind of interesting. It's always a little bit on the interesting side to see what other companies recommend. Because everybody kind of has a different list. Well, here's my thing. You are ready to outsource your bookkeeping as soon as you open a checking account. That's my personal opinion. But here's some of the other things that you can look for. If you have a specific need, if you can kind of communicate, come to think of it, even if you can't, if you know that things are messed up and you are not to the point that you need to have an in-house bookkeeper, then you need to outsource your bookkeeping. If you can give a pretty good idea, and it doesn't have to be specific, I'll ask you the questions to get specific, trust me. But if you can kind of give a pretty good idea of what it is, sorry you guys, this cam is never quite where I want it to be. I'm either, really, either it's way up high and I look like I'm crouching, or it's looking down so far that you're not looking at my face. If you have a pretty good idea of what you're looking for in your bookkeeping, if you know, for example, that your accounts receivable is not happening, you need to hire a bookkeeper, and you need to do that pretty quick. If you are someone who is not a control freak, there are people that really kind of struggle with allowing someone else to record their bank account transactions, and that's what a bookkeeper does. They want to kind of keep their fingers in the pie, and you can't micromanage an outsourced bookkeeper. You just can't. We are going to work at times that may not be convenient for you. I keep regular office hours, 9 to 5, Monday through Friday, but some of that time I'm in meetings with other clients. Some of that time I am doing work for other clients and can't be interrupted. And sometimes the best time for me to work is on the weekends when my kids are with their dad, and I don't have to worry about kids coming and going. Now that's kind of stopping because I am moving to an office, which is exciting. Kind of getting out of my house in a more professional atmosphere. I'm not liking this background when I do Facebook Live. But if you can figure out, and maybe you need to talk to a bookkeeper to help you figure out what you need. If you even have the most nebulous idea of what it is that you're looking for in your books, not necessarily how to, because as a bookkeeper, I know how to get you there. It's more of the idea of, do you know where you want to go? Another thing that you want to know is understand the difference between outsourcing and offshoring. If you are outsourcing, that does not mean that you're going to be talking to someone in India. I know a lot of people in India are very good at what they do, but a lot of Americans just want to have someone close by that they can call. When you have time zone differences, it makes it a little bit different. Outsourcing is homegrown. We are, American bookkeepers. We speak your language. We usually have the same accent. I have a very bland Midwestern accent, so nobody can really tell where I'm from. I was born here in Utah and lived in Seattle till I was 14, at which time we moved to Kentucky, and then I've also lived in upstate New York, Germany, and I speak a couple of languages. So it's not like you're going to call me and not be able to understand my accent. I have a very bland Midwestern American accent. Most people can't tell what part of the country I'm from. We kind of remove geographical location or limitations. I can work with anybody. I prefer to work in the United States. Not that because I lived in Germany, I totally understand exchange rates, but I just don't want to mess with them. And there's a lot of that, where I just don't want to. I know how, but it's not really in my wheelhouse, is kind of how I've always referred to it. I have worked with businesses of all sorts, from Virginia and Florida to Hawaii. So I'm not limited by geography, but when you're dealing with a lot of different time zones, it can become a little bit challenging to find time to have these face-to-face meetings I'm always talking about. Face-to-face can be over Skype or a video conference of some kind. It doesn't have to be a physical, I'm going to sit down with you in your home type of a thing. If you have been burned by bookkeepers in the past, everybody, it's kind of funny, everybody loves to blame their bookkeeper. If you've been burned by bookkeepers, the ones that are never fully caught up, the ones that are never, you can't seem to get a hold of them. I do have a video, I think I've got a video on the top 10 ways to tell if your bookkeeper needs to be replaced. And it doesn't mean that they're no good, but they may not be a good fit for you. I've worked with all sorts of businesses. I've worked with small business. I'm currently working with a very large business. Obviously, I'm not their sole bookkeeper. There's a whole accounting department that I work with, but there's all kinds of, I'm conversant with all kinds of accounting methods and accounting software. If you think that company politics have no place in your books, I have no energy on your money. I have no energy on your books except to let you know if I see something that's way out of line. What happens after that is entirely up to you. But if I do see something that's really badly out of line, if I see things that are kind of going sideways in your books, I'm going to say so because I care deeply about my clients. But egos kind of get in the way, and the one place that I see this the most is actually when the wife or the spouse, I'm trying to be a little bit politically correct, but I'm not by nature, when the spouse is doing the books, then we have some power plays that kind of come into play. And if you just don't want to deal with that, and it doesn't have to be a spouse or significant other, it could be your first cousin's roommate's boyfriend's sister-in-law's next door neighbor's friend who says that he knows how to do them and he's not doing a good job. When you outsource it, you kind of take the ego and the personality differences and the challenges of dealing with someone that, especially if it's someone you know well, you take that out of play. And then you can, it's always kind of refreshing anyway to have an extra set of eyes on your books so that if something is way out of line or if information is not getting to your bookkeepers, we can kind of come to you and explain that in a very neutral way. We don't necessarily have any energy on this person's right, this person's wrong. We really don't. I've even done books for a rather acrimonious divorce, and they needed to see who was spending what. And I really had no energy. In fact, I assigned 2 different bookkeepers to it. Had no energy on it. Even though one spouse was paying me and the other one wasn't, I had no energy on it. Didn't really, numbers are numbers and the numbers don't lie. If you really prefer not to have any ugly surprises when the bill comes, then you need to outsource to me, specifically to me. I have seen a lot of bookkeeping companies that just, their rates are outrageous. And I get that some of them are CPAs. I understand that. But their rates are completely outrageous for a small business. Small businesses can't afford to suddenly get a $900 bill at the end of the month, especially if they weren't expecting it. They need to put that money somewhere else. Our fees are reasonable. They are fixed rate. So when I tell you it's going to be this much, it is a weekly fee, not a monthly fee. But if I tell you it's going to be this much a week, I'm not going to change that until I have permission from you. And I'm going to sit down with you and explain it. And then I have to have written acknowledgement from you that yes, your rate is changing and this is why. There's just nothing worse than thinking it's going to be a $300 job and then you get a $900 bill. It's awful. And I don't like to give my clients that kind of surprise. I would rather give them the surprise of under-promising and over-delivering than overcharging. And I can't say that they're overcharging or not because I don't know their business model, but I do know that I charge a lot less and I make really good money doing it. So if your business is growing, if you've been kind of stagnant, nothing has really changed, and there's not a lot going on in your business, you probably don't need to outsource. But if you're planning to grow, we can take you up to the point where you need an in-house accounting department or accounting clerk. If you and don't let any of these things on this list scare you off. If you're not sure, then give me a call, because I can help you figure that out. And to be honest, my answer is probably going to be yes, you do. You need a bookkeeper. My prices are reasonable enough that there's no excuse not to have one anymore. I would really like to know what your thoughts are. So please feel free to like, comment, and share these videos. The more you do that, the more it helps me. And it also helps me to know what your concerns are as competitors, as prospective clients, as current clients, as people who are just kind of vaguely interested. I am working on some stuff behind the scenes that I'm really excited about. I'm kind of finding that I'm not quite as much of a fan of the cloud-based accounting systems as I thought I was, but I'm still looking into things, and there's a lot of work that has to be done behind the scenes to get all of this done. And I really appreciated not having to do quite so much of that before, but now it's all on me, and this is really a learning experience, and I'm very thankful for it. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, please like and share these videos, and also please comment. If I see comments, I will address them. Bookkeeping is not the most interesting subject in the world to a non-accountant. It's just kind of the way it is. But I know everybody has questions. If I'm answering your questions, I want to know. If I'm not, I know I ramble a lot. I also want to know that too. So if you have any questions, comment below, and I promise I will put a video together to address them. If you have a great day, looking forward to seeing you tomorrow on Friday, and have a wonderful Thursday.